In time, I want to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Mike Uten. Dr. Uten is in his 18th year as a district-level administrator at Whitfield County Schools. Prior to being named superintendent, he held positions as the director of safety, security, and transportation, chief operations officer, and assistant superintendent for operations and student services. In addition to his experience in educational leadership, he has held leadership positions in both public and private sector organizations and taught criminal justice and political science at the post-secondary level. Dr. Uten's own education includes a doctorate in educational leadership from the University of Arkansas, an educational specialist degree from Kennesaw State University, a master's of public administration from Columbus State, a bachelor's of science in organizational management from Covenant College, and being a 1989 graduate of Northwest Whitfield High School. With the exception of 4 years of active military service, Dr. Uten has lived in this area all his life. He has two daughters, Morgan and Chelsea, and has been married to his wife Tina for the past 17 years. Mike has a passion for education, leadership, and a deeply vested interest in Whitfield County Schools and our community. It's my honor to welcome my friend Mike Uten and our superintendent for Whitfield County Schools, Dr. Mike Uten. Let's give him a warm Rotary welcome. So Mike, you can either hold it or just leave it right there, just whatever you'd like to do.
I think I'll grab that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to be here today and talking about one of my favorite things in the world, and that's our school system. But first, I wanted to introduce again Carrie Williams, who's our deputy superintendent. We work shoulder to shoulder. I am blessed to have a leadership team, the leadership team that I do. Having a deputy superintendent, she's number 2 in the district. We work side by side, but we also have our subject matter experts in all the other fields of finance, HR, operations, and all those sorts of things. So I am genuinely blessed, and I know it. But I want to talk to you about the district, give you a snapshot of kind of where we are, where we're going, and those sorts of things today. So a little perspective. When you look at the district itself, we have 24 schools. We are 28th largest in the state. That's about the 85th percentile. There's 181 districts, I think there are in Georgia right now. We have about 12,500 students. Over the last 10 years, we've been on a plateau of student enrollment. So we've just slightly declined over 10 years from about 13,000 to the 12,500 mark. That's our ethnic makeup for the district. And our staff, almost 2,000 employees. We also have a number of contract employees. Our custodial staff, for example, they are a contracted service. Also, some of our school nutrition workers. 76% of our teachers have advanced degrees. And what we're really proud of is our retention rate for our teachers over time. We're also proud of our Board of Education. Our board has been designated several years in a row now as an exemplary board by the Georgia School Board Association. And that takes extra training, that takes some other things they have to do to maintain that. It's re-awarded every year, so it's not something you get and it just remains. But it shows the dedication of the people we have on the Board of Education. And I'll jump into some project stuff, some East Blast and some capital projects. So from our last East Blast, we were approved by the voters both to collect these blocks, but also to sell bonds. And we were approved up to 41 million in bonds, and we ended up selling 14 million. The reason for that, under Dr. Gilreath's leadership, we were able to have extremely conservative budgets. We were able to maintain a fund balance so that we could pay as we went for a whole lot of things that we might not have been able to otherwise. So that we intend to continue to do that over time. Completed projects, here are a few that we've completed recently as far as facilities go. And this is the stuff that it's very necessary, but it's not very fun to talk about and look at. These are infrastructure things, sewer, roofs, HVAC. Things you don't notice until they don't work. That's generally what these things are. And we have a long list of those to continue to work on. What are fun to look at are the new schools that we've finished. So Valley Point Middle School, we just started the second year there at Valley Point. And you can see the budget for that, the $22 million contract, the total construction budget is $26 million. So the difference there when you have the construction contract is strictly just the building itself, the builders. Then you have architect fees, you have geotechnical, you have a lot of other things that go on top of that, real estate and things of that nature. But I want you to look here on state reimbursement, because sometimes you'll run into people that assume that the state pays for schools, and they do contribute. But if we waited for the state of Georgia to pay for our schools, we wouldn't have new facilities or even upkept facilities. So the capital outlay project program they do have, it does contribute. North Whitfield Middle, this is our first year with students at North Whitfield. And you can kind of see the proportions of the same as far as state reimbursement. The ticket's a little bigger here, but the school is larger. The same design as Valley Point. Valley Point has 3 wings, and North Whitfield has 4, just because of the student population. The Westside Middle School gym, we were able to tear down the old one and rebuild that. So with that, that was the last of the Quonset huts, looked like an old airport hangar kind of thing, airplane hangar sort of idea. So these are literally twice the size, and these are the standards for a middle school. When you look at the state standards from the Department of Education, the ones we had were way too small. So this has been a big plus for the community in Westside also. Some of our priority needs right now going forward, more roofs, more modifications. You see North Star facility. That is a facility that we partner with Dalton Public Schools and Murray County as far as serving a certain population of our students. Dalton has been gracious enough to host that for a number of years. Well, it's kind of our turn to do that now because of the facility needs that they have. So moving out of the old North Whitfield building, part of that building will be reoccupied with North Star beginning in January. So also roof and HVAC for Northwest, Southeast, Valley Point, and there are a couple of others. But Northwest and Southeast, just to give you an idea of kind of what that looks like, dollars-wise. Southeast is underway right now, and it was about a $9 million construction contract. Northwest will be a little bit more than that. And so those are when you try to wrap your head around, that's roof and HVAC, that's without any carpet, paint, anything that looks nice. That's just the essential part. Then we get into our federal funds. So the CARES Act, ESSER, there's different names for these things. We have 3 phases of these. And the first phase that we received, this is kind of what we've used our money for. Custodial services, about a $2 million contract. Teacher laptops, technology, and some of our curricular needs. On the second phase, we were able to use some for capital projects. So the benefit of this is that it's going to allow us to get some of this infrastructure done using this, so that later on we can go farther down our project list with future E-SPLOST or things of that nature. School buses, more curricular needs, water filters, water bottle fillers, eco-basin treatments, a lot of these things that we need during this time of COVID. And then the third phase. Third phase is partially approved, it's kind of a work in progress, but this is where you'll see kind of more of the same, but in different locations. It's been a great supplement for a lot of things. I'm going to ask Carrie to talk to us about grants and some of our community partnerships, and then I'll pick back up.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I know that over the past years, we've come to talk to you a lot about our literacy grants and the work that we're doing in the community. And I can't think of a more important time for us to really make sure that this work continues, because it's not always easy to continue in the middle of a pandemic. But, you know, our kids had this need before the pandemic started, where they needed more help with reading, more help being successful with their basic skills and getting resources in their homes. And during the pandemic, that need has only increased. So We've had probably a little bit over $7 million in literacy grants since 2014. And during that time, we have restocked our school libraries. We have given away thousands and thousands of books to kids to help build home libraries. We have spent money for teachers to have classroom libraries where kids can check books out from the teacher as well as at home. And we've had lots of work that we have coordinated with community partners. We've got some of you in this room now as I get ready to talk about the work that we've been doing together. But our last phase of our literacy grants, we had a scaling grant that was the last part of the Governor's Office of Student Achievement Grant that we have been working on. We also had the literacy grant from the state called the L4GA, which stands for Literacy for Learning, Living, and Leading Grant. And for that, we had $3.5 million, and all of our schools had a school plan for spending their portion of it, which was based on their student FTE. And then this past summer, we were able to get a $10,000 innovative grant. And that was to help provide books to some of the middle and high school students. So as we got into some of these different things that we have been doing over the years, it became real obvious that our middle and high school kids really didn't have a whole lot. When they came to these with their younger siblings, there really wasn't much for them except to help their younger sibling read or to do a project or whatever. The power lunches we have coordinated with Dalton State. I just want to mention some of our partners again. United Way. That's where our food service is going out into the communities in the summer. They're delivering foods, and at the same time, we've got lots of books that are delivered. They are delivering lessons. They are working with kids and parents to teach. And a lot of times it's on somebody's porch and somebody's carport at these different places where we conduct the power lunches. We have been doing summer literacy camps with Dalton State students as the teachers for the past 3 summers. They have summer classes that their students are doing, and this gives them field experience out in the classroom teaching students. And we were able to open 4 different summer literacy camps. And over that time, we had 30 to 50 kids come in for that 2-week time period at 4 schools. So we started looking at what we can learn over the summer, what kind of learning did they miss last school year that we could kind of, recapture for the summer work. And so these types of things we've been able to do. Now, with this grant money ending, one of the big key pieces for us is sustainability. So we know that the work that we're doing with Dalton State, United Way, we're going to keep doing it. They have to keep training their future teachers, and we've got lots of kids who need that help. So it's a great partnership, and it's something that can definitely be continued. Some other things that we've done, of course, we've partnered with the Northwest Georgia Regional Library System for summer libraries, and that's a community thing, but we've opened up our schools and used some of our grant money to bring in our media specialists during the summer to open up those for summer hours. We know that some of the CARES money that Mike just talked about will be money that we're able to use to continue keeping our summer libraries open. So some of that money we're going to use for remediation and learning recovery by providing, opportunities for students to keep learning. So we're going to continue to look for funding sources to continue the work that we believe in, and we want that work to continue. Another thing is the book blast. We've partnered with Dalton Public Schools, United Way, the Community Foundation for several years now on book blasts. We used to have the big community one that we did, and that was the main one we had. Those have expanded with our grant work so that we have book blasts going on in all of our schools right now. So when those happen, they give away books. In the pandemic, instead of bringing large crowds in, sometimes they'll take Pete the Cat in the book cart and they'll take books around to the classrooms instead of bringing the kids out of the classroom into a different area of the building so that we remain safe. And of course, we've got lots of volunteer programs that are going on in the school system as well. So not only has this work, I think, benefited students, but it also has changed the culture in our community. Not just the work that we're doing, but the work that Dalton is doing, the work that Greater Dalton is doing. All the people working together make the difference for the kids in our community. And through this, we've got volunteer readers who are going to be coming to Eastside Elementary to do reading this year. And these other industries and organizations that you see up here are all part of the volunteer program. And we're probably, I know that list could be a lot longer because we've got, of course, the DARE program comes in, we've got 4-H programs that come in, we've got Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, there's lots of volunteers that come in and do programs and work with our kids. And all of that helps keep them from that learning loss that is happening when they are away from their teachers. Another community organization is our Whitfield Education Foundation, and Smitty presented not too long ago his program to talk about that foundation, just to recognize the work that they do once again through the work, whether it's some of you play golf or participating in the Celebrity Spelling Bee or whatever you do to help contribute. They were able to give away over $80,000 worth of grants to teachers and administrators to help keep some of these innovative projects alive in their schools. And why do we do it? Well, we also want kids to be successful. We know that it starts when they're young, so that they continue to access the different subject areas and to continue to learn and grow. Our graduation rates from 2020 are here. We've not received the 2021 numbers yet. Most of you are familiar with our high schools. They are all doing a tremendous job to get kids graduated. You'll notice, if you're not familiar with this, that we do have a credit recovery high school, Phoenix High School, where students who are behind in credit and ready to drop out have a second chance to go back and to earn a diploma. So every diploma earned in that school is a victory. So we always have more than 100 students who are going to drop out who go ahead and get a diploma. So though that number is low, it is a victory because that helps our community. Our schools are working hard. We talk about mental health of children and what we're really concerned about right now. This slide deals specifically with the high school when I talk about graduation coaches, but all of our schools have regular meetings about students, whether it's, third grade teachers getting together, whether it's counselors meeting with the teachers, but we are always looking at how students are doing, how they're performing, and teachers are always alert to changes in mental health of our students. And that if we ignore that, we're ignoring a big part of what kids are going through right now. But not only are we looking at the data, but we also have Georgia Hope working with us and providing counselors at our high schools, and we've extended that down to the middle school students too, to give them as many opportunities to see a counselor as they need. And of course, our graduation coaches are tracking kids who are possibly struggling and making sure they're reaching the finish line. So all these things are part of what everybody in this room works together when you support those different projects that I just mentioned, that they help kids in our community. So thank you on behalf of Whitfield County Schools for that.
Thank you, Carrie. So when Carrie mentions the community, we talk a lot about the whole child. And the whole child means it's academics, the core business of schools. But the whole child also involves a lot of the mental health issues, a lot of the extracurricular things, a lot of the other needs that kids have. There's the whole child, and then there's the whole community. And the whole community involves not just the people in the four walls of the school. It involves groups like this. It involves those volunteer groups. Everybody has a part to play. Parents, obviously. So I'm going to give you just a quick snapshot of some of our highlights. Even in a COVID year last year, here are some of the things that we were able to celebrate. The campaign for grade level reading. It's a national award. And this was a joint award with us and Dalton Public Schools. One of the Pace Center on grade level proficiency, that's one of 16 in the country. So we're very proud of that. One of 19 in the country was the Bright Spot, that parent success piece. And I'd like to say, by the way, since I mentioned Dalton Public, that Tim Scott and his team are outstanding to work with. We collaborate on a lot of things, and Tim, I appreciate you greatly. Our Career Academy, College and Career Academy of the state, of the year, I'm sorry, for the state of Georgia. This is a big deal. Our Career Academy was one of the early career academies in Georgia. Early adopter, we did things, about 18 years ago, I guess, is when we started. It's kind of evolved over time. Learned some lessons over time. You have to weigh things like what's popular and what is needed in the community. Education is an economic driver. Public education absolutely is. We have to have graduates in our area to be able to fill jobs, to be able to go to post-secondary, whether it be university or technical schools. So this has evolved into more of those partnerships. We have very strong partnerships with industry, and it's been recognized this year by the state. Ariana Pimentel, her poem El Agua. She's a sixth grader there at East Brook, and she won for the state, the Young Georgia Author. Very, very good stuff. And very touching. I think it's on YouTube, isn't it? I know I've seen it several times. There's a video of her reading it. It's impactful. Drama. When we talk about extracurricular, not everybody's an athlete. Not everybody is has to be in a certain niche. But we do believe that kids need to have opportunities to do a lot of different things extracurricular-wise. Southeast Drama, the one play region champs, the best crew for the Northwest Drama team, and of course our soccer teams. And put Dalton High in there with us, soccer town. This is great stuff. And if you don't know how big a deal this is, outside of Metro Atlanta, it's unheard of for one community to have 3 state champs in 1 year like that. So it's impressive. We hope that builds, the momentum continues to build with that. Golf, Sarah Berger, Northwest. She won state as an individual golfer. And I think she's at Dalton State now playing golf. Is that right? If I remember correctly. Yeah. And some more other accolades here. AP Scholars, 63. Governor's Honors, 3. Georgia Scholars, 10. These are big, big deals. They really are. To have that many, we're super proud of that. And this is what it's all about. It's about kids. It's about the community, but it's about the kids. So now, from that, let's get to a little nuts and bolts here. Here's where we are with COVID-19. As of Friday, we had 134 student positives, 28 staff. So on the quarantine side, there's about 450 students from the school quarantine. On staff, there's like 7 other quarantines. So there are others who just didn't come to school and they call in and report that they have COVID. But these are the ones that we have on track, that we know on our system. Some of our guidelines in place, masks, we do have a mask mandate. Parents are able to opt out if they wish. We didn't know how that was going to go. The difference, you may ask, what's the difference in that and just making it optional? Well, the difference is the default is a person wears a mask, unless the parent has actively sent in the note. And what that resulted in is less than 10% have opted out district-wide. Now, some schools are higher than others. But what really matters, obviously we're trying to control spread, but quarantines. If I'm sitting at this table and we're all wearing a mask, and I show it to be positive, and everybody else has their mask on, under current guidelines, they wouldn't have to quarantine unless they became symptomatic. So it helps keep people in school, and we monitor those things. So when I mentioned that 4 and 5 times more people are quarantined that are positive, few of those people, percentage-wise, few of those people will show up positive, but most don't. But it bears watching. Vaccinations, we're making it available. We're encouraging, we're not requiring it. But we put it 2 rounds through the schools. We'll be having on Friday night football opportunities for people to get vaccinated. The health department's been wonderful to work with us on that. And I think I mentioned on the quarantine side. Our strategic plan, I've given you a copy, so I will spare you going line by line through this. But I want you to know the main impact points, the overarching goal areas. Teaching and learning is our core business. That's what we're here to do. And we talk about it being a unified purpose, unity of purpose. whether we're talking to a bus driver group or we're talking to teachers or community groups, we all have the same goal. So we're all in the education business as far as supporting our students. Human resources, recruiting, training, and retention. Trying to get good people and keep them. Finance. We have an excellent, we've come a long way with finance. We have a really good rating with the state of Georgia, and our mission is to keep it that way and to be good stewards of taxpayers' money. And when I say I've got an excellent leadership group to work with, our finance team is exceptional. They do a great job. Parent, family, and community engagement. A little bit of what I talked about generally, about the community being involved, but some of those things that we strive to improve on. And district operations. That's everything from maintenance and technology to food and buses and all those kinds of things.